Now, sometimes people want to know about authors' lives, so I got some questions that I'm going to try to answer, but I probably won't be able to look at the screen because of how emotional it makes me feel. Openly, I was married, for all intents and purposes of the words, for almost 20 years. I had a woman who loved me very much. She left her home country to be with me, and I paid quite a pretty penny every year to ensure she could learn how to be an American. She needed an education. She went to college and university. She got almost 2 full degrees in 2 different specialties until we got to some parts in language that I just couldn't translate anymore. She decided after many years of being here, almost 10, that openly she could not stay in America anymore. We wanted our son to be able to decide where he wanted to live out his days as a man. He chose to go home to see his biological father and decided to stay, even though he no longer has relationships with him for the various reasons his mother left him. Now, that's not really great that I share this, but I want the truth to be out there, to show that sometimes we make wrong choices and sometimes we make choices that help to train us for the next love that's coming into our life. I learned a lot about parenting from my son, things I did well, things I did poorly. How to be a better father came from all of that time together. And it was hard times, not easy, because Americans are so poor at welcoming and enfolding those from other countries. I see it every day in my own neighborhood with how my neighbors are treated and how they feel something's off when someone like me just goes up and shakes their hands and welcomes them as my neighbor as they are becoming and getting acquainted to me. Now, I'm in a home that doesn't feel right for me at all, but I needed to get out of my car from homelessness that has been caused by someone taking my life into their hands, blocking all my telecommunications, interfering with my emails, taking over my computers, and finally stealing my life's work. Everything I had in life has been taken from me. So I've not really moved into this place. I sleep on a sleeping bag on the floor in the other room. I have a few things with me now, like my iPad, but I am not totally me anymore. Something in whoever did this felt that they had some right to take over my life. And the scary thing is that this could happen to you too. Now, I'm not saying anything most of you don't already know, that cyber hacking exists, that people steal bank information all the time, but this person went all the way. They hit all 7 to 8 layers of adulthood of my life, thinking they had some right to ruin me completely. The funny thing is that God has never left me. He has been with me on this entire journey, and I have some amazing stories that I'm going to be sharing in my next work. I'm actually right now writing a play and musical, and maybe, if my family ever figures things out on their own beliefs, they'll realize that I am worth having around. But for now, I have no family. My mother has tried a lot, but she is in the middle of a sibling war over, I think, inheritance. I haven't seen my father, who I love so much, in a long time, because they have prevented me from seeing him because of my religious beliefs and practices, how I listen to God, how I hear his guidance, and how I help others who want that guidance. Now, I'm living on modest funds. I don't have a lot of money for dating, and I don't have one idea in my mind of how to talk to a girl that I really like and say, look, you just want to go have dinner, without it becoming a federal case of some kind. I'm not really interested in going out and just having sex, and I'm certainly not advocating that it's wrong. It's just not for me. I want to get to know someone. I want to have a happy life. And someone thinks they have the right to take that from me, which isn't really right at all. Now, how would you feel if this was your life? Think for a moment if everything in your home was taken from you. Someone got into my locked storage and took all my possessions, gifts that I kept after my wife of many years left. My son's shorts and hats, my shoes, my Japanese family heritage belongings, one-of-a-kind items I purchased on my travels in Japan. Openly, they've taken computer software. I know because that entire file drawer is a mess. They took religious cards from me, only one set, making it clear who it was. But openly, others got in and took things too. And this is a locked storage unit that leaves its doors open all day long, so they can always say it's not them. Maybe it's not them, but someone did it. I've seen the same oil truck every single time coming in when I'm there, and it pisses me off to no end. The police are all over me in almost every city I go to. I went to get an oil change, and Lawrence sat out there and watched me do it the whole time. So I want to know who put something on my car to alert them where I am in 6 states. Seems like a federal abuse at this point. It certainly feels like harassment now because I couldn't go one place without a police officer crossing my path. Now, if they're just curious about who is this man of God, then fine. If they're wanting to meet me, then all they have to do is extend their hand and say, hey. If they're trying to know what I have in my car, all they have to do is ask me, but they've never done that. And things keep going missing from my locked automobile. Now, who has the right to get my keys is not the point. The fact that someone has done it over and over again, taking things in, putting things back, and sometimes just things logical and practical items go out totally missing from my car. I noticed that a hammer that helps me to knock out glass if I were to ever go into a lake in my car accidentally is gone, totally gone from my car. Now, if I say that, it'll probably show up again. So let me say this. I want to see the woman I love face to face. I want her to sit down and talk to me once and for all. I want the opportunity to propose if God puts it on my heart in that moment to do so. And if she wants to say no, then let her say no to my face. And let her tell me why I'm not good enough. Not through some text messages that has been harmed by someone else getting onto it, or not from some email or some LinkedIn texting. A real woman does not deny a marriage proposal in a letter. That's like a Dear John letter that doesn't even faze a man. Now, if I had the opportunity, I would tell her how much I love her, how much I miss her, how much she is in my soul, and this woman's name is on every car that I see when I'm worried about, am I on the right path? I've seen her name on trucks with mine. When I was wondering who was doing things to me, God put in front of me 3 men wearing shirts with her name on them. Now, if that's not a sign from God, what is it then? So, if you're looking for signs about whether you're on the right path, ask God to show it to you. And start looking at the patterns in your life. Whether it's automobile plates, or whether it's clothes people wear in front of you, or whether it's the birds in the sky, you will get help. But you have to pray for it, you have to be grateful for it, and you have to thank God that He's really there. Now, this is a long video. I'm not sure how well it will post up, but it is totally what is going on in my life. Police shit all over me when I go to them to ask, would they please take a theft report? They want me to go to a station. Why on earth would I ever go to a police station ever again in my life after what they did to me in October of last year, almost causing me a stroke? Now that, folks, is what life is for me now. I'm simply trying to go on in life, trying to build a business in healthy science, trying to talk to farmers who don't have much in the way of internet, who aren't being harassed. And I just want to go on in life loving God, loving the woman I love, her children, because usually at my age they have them and have failed in their choice the first time through. And I am not going to say it was a failure, because God gives us the gifts of children to have with the partners who are supposed to help rear them. And when we waste time playing God, we miss out on the most incredible relationships we could have in our life. So the promise I can make to you is that God sees you, He hears your prayers, and will only respond when you do the right thing. When you lie, steal, and cheat and allow others to do so in your presence, He will not help. Now, some might say that I have been harassed because of something I did. Maybe. I know I have sinned against people's souls, not intentionally, but trying to help them move forward. I have told them tough love things because it's what's been holding them back. I have showed honor to people that I did not respect before because I realized I was not seeing their soul. And I have tried to make amends to those people. Openly, I think they've forgotten most of what I felt, or how it felt to sit in their presence when they wasted my time lying to me about what they could or couldn't accomplish in a week. When I had a family, I was running 2 businesses, driving them both to different campuses, and getting a lot done. Now I'm just trying to get through the day, not losing myself in this stress of being harassed for almost 2 years, probably 10 months intensely. Now that's who I am. Who are you? Who are you to the people in your life? Who are you to the people that you don't particularly care for because they're not really going to be soul keepers for you? Are you respectful anyway, or do you shit all over their lives? And yes, God uses swear words because we do too. And openly, I can't prove it to you unless I give you a reading, and I'm not about to give you a reading if you're going to make fun of me, and I'm not going to give it to you unless God says you're ready for the truth. Now, my spirituality seminars are about how to use tools to help you get the right answers for your life. You cannot manipulate God, you cannot make angels do things for you, and you cannot force someone to love you, but I guarantee the woman that I love loves me too. She just hasn't figured it out yet, and that's a shame because time is ticking by, and I'm not quite the same man I was when we first met. I'm a totally new soul. And that's what happens when you bring God into your life. You're made new in God. And I love God, and I will not ever stop saying it. I will not ever stop proving He exists. And people will say I'm worshiping the devil, which I can tell you he does not really exactly exist, other than what God allows His dark angels to test you with. When the dark angels test you and you fail to do godly things, you go further into the dark. When the dark angels test you and you choose light, you go into the light. My life is going towards the light, so much that you will see wonderful things, hopefully, for me. But it's really not about me, this channel. It's about you and how I can help you to find God, to live your life to the fullest, and to ensure you are helping people and not harming them. Because when you harm people, karma comes. So quick sometimes and sometimes slow, to show you that you are not God in this world. And sometimes the slower haul means the more painful punishment from God. Like any father, He's going to love you through it all, and He's going to use punishment to teach you. And some people just don't get it. They say that they're gods in this world, and they are not. So they don't go very far in life. They struggle along. They don't lift people up. They take them down with them. And I don't want that to happen to anyone I love. So I'm trying to be cautious in what I say about who I think is doing what, because I can only get bits and pieces. And when people don't work together, they can't figure things out together. So that's what I'm saying to these police officers. You better friggin' leave me alone. Otherwise, God is going to smash your lives for ruining mine, thinking you could play God in this world. And I promise you, at the time when you need Him most, He may just say, nope, not today. You failed these other people. And I hope that's not the case, but I have experienced this in my own life, and I know God can physically touch anyone He wants to at any moment, and so can Jesus. And the touches are very different. Now that's a lot of information that you're not sure what to process about, so I would say just take time to reflect on if it's true, or if this is just some man trying to sell a book. Openly, I've got a few copies that I'm ready to sell that need a little work still, and I'm open to your feedback. So, this is me, signing off. Blaze Justice, the Archangel Advocate, author of Soul Keepers, the Soul String in Our Lives, and hoping you're having a great day.